This is Loop Braider. I'm going to be demonstrating how to do pickup patterning in a flat braid, a simple square type flat braid. That's what these are. I'm showing in my sample book. These are pickup patterns in flat braids. These are mostly of 7 loops. You can do it with 5 loops. There are some 5-loop braids there. I think here's one. Oops, it's going to fall off the table. I now know a little better how to, I think, give some hints about keeping flat braids, making sure they come out fully flat rather than 3/4 flat, which will involve some of the setup procedures that I do. Let's see if I have an example of I don't know where I put the 3/4 flat version that I braided up the other day. But in any case, sometimes flat braids don't turn out completely flat like this. They kind of get compressed together and come out in with only 3 of the 4 braid columns showing, and it's sort of a thicker center. These patterns won't turn out right if the braid looks like that. You can stretch it out, but the way I'm going to set up should help alleviate that problem and have the braid turn out fully flat. Oh, eventually the braid I will be demoing, the braid pattern I will be demoing is this one here. It's also shown here, that I call contrast V's. Okay, but let's first get the braid set up. Now these are all messed up. I will be starting with 7, I'll be braiding with 7 loops, so the loops are all tied separately. The only reason for that is that I want to finish the top with some mini braids like I braid at the bottom. You wouldn't have to, this will be the top of the braid, you wouldn't have to have the top all tied separately into separate loops, but it will help at the end when I come back and make the braids at that end, the mini braids for the tassel. In any case, I will start with bicolor loops, 7 of them, and here's what we will be doing. I will be demoing. I will start with divided braiding to make a divided loop, and I will suspend the braid I will be working on from that loop, from that divided section, onto, I use the bar of the C-clamp, onto something rigid, something that will hold it firmly as I'm braiding. That just seems to help the flat braid turn out fully flat. So I start with, let's see if this can, I start with 7 loops. I'm going to put those together. The main goal here is to make sure that the loops that I end up braiding with on my fingers all are the same length. So I want to put these knots all together. This will actually be, these ends will be where I put my fingers, insert my fingers. But to start with, I'm going to make the loop bundle. I have other ways of doing this that are harder to film, but this should work fine. This end will be the fringe at the top eventually. So I'll basically be braiding about here for this sample braid. I'm going to tie a temporary knot here at this end, temporary knot to, that will be the beginning of my braid, and I'm making it fairly far down. This temporary knot, I'll take it out later because I want to make braid fringes with that end, so hoping that these will all be the same length, so I'm kind of holding them at where I will braid at those knots, pulling gently, and even them out. I will use, it isn't necessary to use a header cord, but I think this is the easiest way to show the demo. I will put a header cord around here. That's a lark's head knot, putting one end of the loop through the other. I will be taking this out shortly. I'm only going to use it for the initial part when I'm braiding the divided section of the braid. There's another lark's head. I just find that the easiest way to hang it over. Let's see if that shows. I am behind the camera looking through and trying to see what I'm doing as I'm doing it, so it's very awkward. So I'm putting, yeah, that shows. I'm putting that over. Okay, now I'm going to put all these loops onto my fingers with the black, one color up. I'm going to do black, all dark up. So one at a time. It doesn't matter if they're a bit twisted at the top. That's not coming out anyway. There. So one at a time I'm going to put them onto my fingers with the black shank upward. Now on the other hand, I'm just arbitrarily using black, all black up as the pattern, if you want to call it that, for my loop, my divided area. Okay, so here we have the loops with all black shanks upward, dark up on both hands, dark up. And I'm going to start by making a divided section, a divided braid. So I will not be turning any of these loops as I take them. This is all taught in other tutorials of mine on my website, usually with an associated YouTube video or two. So you can learn how to make this on my website. Click the link below the video. So I will braid this for however long I feel I want the loop at the top, the braided section, the braided loop at the top to be. And then I will suspend that over my firm, fixed area for braiding from. I will use the bar of my C-clamp, but I will also show you how you can use other, if you don't like braiding from that, you can use something like this as well. That's where I live. You can buy these in the hardware store as shower curtain rings. This one's quite stiff. Some are not this stiff. Okay, so now I'm going to take this divided area here, the black braid on the top, the white braid on the bottom. Those will be forming my loop, and I will suspend it. The way I like to braid is just to suspend it from the C-clamp like that. This actually, and then I would, this is actually too far away for me to sit here and do this, so I think I will use the, anyway, this is how I would braid. That's my normal way of braiding. I think I will use this clip because that will bring it closer to me across this table. This is another way you can do it. You can put that clip through. You don't even need to close it. It can just stay open. And I want it to be horizontal, so I'm not going to put it that way. I'll put it like this. That brings it close. That's good. And this is like a firm bar. This helps the flat braid form in a closed C shape or folded shape, because it doesn't pinch the top together the way this red header cord pinched the top together, and it also keeps the upper layer on top and the lower layer underneath. Okay, so now I will start braiding. Let me show you the chart I will be following. This is a 7-loop braid, and I'm going to start making contrast V's in a way that will become automatic for a 7-loop braid. This is the automatic pattern. It's slightly asymmetrical. It's not completely see if I can show the difference. This is the one I will start with, the contrast V's. Oh, no, it's up here, sorry. This is the one I will start with. And there's a slightly asymmetric quality about this pattern because you can't, 7 loops is an odd number, and an automatic braiding pattern will not be totally even. So slightly asymmetrical. Later, I will show an alternative way to braid this that is very symmetrical, the 4-row chart, but it will involve pickup patterning the whole way. It won't be, and that's this one. Just slightly more even. It's one dark and then 3 lights. 1 dark, 3 lights, all the way down in every column, or 1 light, 3 darks on the other side. It's very even, and it would not resolve into automatic braiding moves with a 7-loop braid. We would be doing pickup the whole way, which is not hard to do with this simple of a pattern. Okay, so to start with, though, I will follow the 7-row pattern. These are all in my website. You can download them there. The 7-row pattern, it's very simple. A flat braid pickup chart is really a list more than a chart, since it only shows the one side of the braid, the side that the turns occur on. And I will be doing that on the left side. So the way the rows go, I will be doing a light followed by 3 darks, then a light, and then 2 darks. And it starts all over again. Repeat rows 1 to 7 for the pattern. So since I'm starting from all black up, all dark up, I am not in pattern. I am now going to use pickup. I'm going to follow this chart, starting with light. I want light up. And doing this will close the loop. The loop will now close because I'm going to be turning every time I take a left loop. It will get some kind of turn or other, as you will see. The first move, the first row, I want light up. Dark is currently up, so I will give that loop a turn, a single regular turn as I take it. There, took it with a turn, shift, shift, shift. Light is now up. That was a light up transfer on that hand. The other side of the braid is always, for a flat braid, you always take it without turning. So that side doesn't even have to be charted. It's a given. It doesn't matter what color is up, you just take it without turning it. To tighten a flat braid, you will get, I find anyway, instead of on this second move, when I'm tightening on the side of the braid that will be open, that will unfold, that is not connected, I reach around and tighten this way while holding these loops towards me. I do not stretch them out. I'm going to hit the wall, so I really can't tighten all the way as far as I want to. It looks very asymmetrical, but it produces a really nice flat form. So I haven't really revealed that before, but it helps the braid be flat and not 3/4 flat. It just helps. It helps with flat braids in general. Okay, next row is a dark. There's going to be 3 dark rows in a row. Dark is already up on that side, so I will give this a double turn. It must have a turn in order to not have a hole in it, the braid. It must have a turn. I will turn it twice, a double turn. Dark is still up. This, when I take, there are 2 kinds of tightening with this flat braid, the way I do it, which I think is a very useful way. When I take from the folded side, I open evenly and not very far. It's sort of a mini tightening. It's not the main tightening. The next tightening, when I take the unturned loop from the right side, that is the side that I will pull up. either before or after I do the loop shifts on that side. It's the side of the braid that, after I've taken a loop from that side, and it has fewer loops, I can look at it and see, oh, I have fewer loops on that side. That's the side I pull up. That's the open side, the side that has no turn in it. Okay, the third row is another dark, and the fourth row will be another dark too. So dark is already up. I'm going to turn this twice. I did it before by reaching around and getting the light loop. I can also do it just by taking it with a regular turn and then turning it over. It both works. Let's bring it back. Okay, I want to bring this to this finger with a double turn. I can do that by turning it twice, like I just did, or I can reach all the way around and get the underneath loop. Tiny bit awkward, but it works. You get used to it. Tighten a bit, and now the right side is going to tighten much further. That was a no-turn side. Okay, that was my second dark. I need to do 3 rows of dark. I've been talking so much I might forget. I might think, whoa, what row am I on? It's easy enough to see on your fingers. You look at your fingers, you look at your loops. The last loop that I took, the last loop with a turn, will be on the lowest finger of the right hand. It was a dark. The one before that will be on the next finger up. It was a dark. The one before that will be on the next finger up. It's a light. That was my last light, the last light that I took, which was actually the very first one. Light, dark, dark. I'm on the third row. I'm on my second dark. So in case I forgot where I was, I can look at my fingers and see, oh, last one was a dark, before that was a dark, before that was a light. Okay, I've done a light and 2 darks. So now I need to do one more dark. Double turn, tighten a bit, no turn, tighten a lot. And while holding this straight towards me, that really helps the fold on this side and the open side form in 2 layers that will open up to be flat later. Okay, so now I have finished row 4. My next row on the left side, I'm going to do another light and then just 2 darks before I start all over again. So, doing another light. So this time, dark is up. I want light, so I give it a single turn. There, light is up. Tighten a bit. No turn. Tighten a lot. Just out to one side. Then 2 darks. Dark is up. I tend to move this over with my thumb so I can grab the bottom loop, the color. Shift, shift, shift. Tighten a bit. No turn. Tighten a lot. One more dark. Dark is already up, so I'm going to give it a double turn. Turn twice. Tighten a bit. No turn. Tighten a lot. So I've done 2 darks now. Dark, dark after this light. So I'm done with my 7 rows. At this point, I should be in position to keep going with automatic moves they aren't automatic regular flat braid moves. It's going to be automatic if I do every turn twice. So if you do this, you'll get really used to making that double turn, because that will put we can test it. Here's the pattern. I'm starting again at the top, so it's going to be light, dark, 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 light, dark, dark. And I'm ready to go, and I can see the first one already has light up, so it needs a double turn. The next one, they should be all in position to do this with automatic twice turning moves. I call that a linked flat braid. Every turn is a double turn makes a link in the loop. Okay, so light, a little bit of a tightening, then no turn, tighten a lot, then dark 1, double turn, tighten a little, no turn, tighten a lot. That was dark 1. That's how I usually count. If I have 3 darks in a row, I go dark 1, dark 2, dark 3. So that was dark 1, double turn, dark 2, tighten a little, tighten a lot, 1, and dark 3, tighten a little, tighten a lot. Then comes this light. I did my 3 darks. Now I'm doing row 5 as a light, and sure enough, light is up. Double turn, tighten a little, no turn, tighten a lot, keeping this straight towards me pretty much. Now 2 darks, so there they are, 2 darks, and there's my light coming after it. So all I have to do now is no turn. All I have to do now is automatic moves. I don't have to think about them. I'm going to be doing double turns each time. So I'm done with my pickup. Pickup patterning is when you have to think about your turns, when you are choosing whether to turn once or turn twice in this case. In a 2-layer braid, it would be often deciding whether to turn or not to turn. Tighten a little, tighten a lot. So let's see, we can see what this pattern looks like pretty soon, and then move on to the variation of this pattern. Let's do that. Okay, so now I'm going to do pickup in order to get all my loops dark up, just to make a little separation between the two patterns. We've done this pattern, the 7-row contrast V's. Next I'm going to do the 4-row contrast V's, which is a sort of more symmetrical looking pattern and will involve pickup the whole way along. I want a little separation between them, so I'm going to first braid until with a goal of turning all the dark shanks upward and make a little dark space in between. So this is pickup because I'm going to look at each loop and transfer it depending on whether dark is already up or not already up. So here dark is already up. I will do a double turn, tighten a little, no turn, tighten a lot. Next one, dark is already up, double turn, keeping it up, tighten a little, no turn, tighten a lot. Here, this loop has light up. I want dark up, so I'm going to give it a single turn. Tighten a little, no turn, tighten a lot. And I have only one, I look at my loops, I have only one more light left, so I need to at least keep braiding until then. So that was a double turn, since dark was already up. Here comes another double turn, since dark was already up. We're getting close to that light loop. Double turn. Okay, here's the last loop that still has light up. I'm going to give it a single turn. There. Now all my loops have dark up, and I'll just braid just a few rows. I don't have much room in this left of my little sample here. Maybe just a couple of rows of all dark up. And now let's move on to 4-row contrast V's. This will be a little bit more symmetrical pattern. It does have a slant to it. It's not symmetrical across, and that's because it's sort of an illusion, actually. Well, I'll explain that later. But anyway, so the pattern now is going to be, it looks simpler, but it will be a little bit trickier to braid because it will never become automatic. So it's just going to be light and then 3 darks. So it's very easy to remember. Most of these flat braid patterns, you don't really need the chart after you just look at it and realize what it is. Light, dark, dark, dark. And as I'm braiding, I'll think of it as light, dark 1, dark 2, dark 3. Light, dark 1, dark 2, dark 3. So let's start that. first move is a light. I have dark up, so I'll give it a single turn. Tighten a little, no turn, tighten a lot. Then comes dark 1, dark is up, double turn. Dark 1, tighten a lot. Dark 2 needs a double turn. Turn, tighten a lot. And last one, dark 3, also needs a double turn. Tighten a little. Tighten a lot. Now I'm back to the light. Let me just check. Let's see, my last transfer was a dark up, preceded by a dark up, preceded by a dark up. The one before that was this light up one. So that was the light up, dark, dark, dark. So I've done light, dark, dark, dark. I'm ready to do my next light. And pretty soon I will be somewhat in pattern. I mean, I'm not enough to be automatic, but there will be a regularity to when I do turns and when I do double turns. So let's start again from the top. Light up, just one turn. No turn, tighten a lot. Then dark 1 needs a double turn. Dark 2 needs a double turn. Dark 3, light is up now. I'm going to give it a single turn. That's dark 3. And no turn, tighten a lot. Now I'm ready to do my next light. Dark is up. I only need to give it one turn. So, turn. There's a light. No turn. No. Dark 1 needs a double turn. Dark 2 needs a double turn. Dark 3, a single turn. And then light, a single turn. Basically, there is it's not an automatic pattern. I'm doing different moves on different rows. However, there's a regularity. I'm doing 2 regular turns followed by 2 double turns for the rest of the braid. That's what it's going to be. So I just did a single turn for this light, and the preceding one was a single turn. Now there will be 2 double turns in a row for dark 1 and dark 2. Dark 1, double turn, no turn. Dark 2, double turn, no turn. Dark 3, single turn, no turn. And light will be a single turn since dark is up. And no turn. So there is a regularity here. Those last 2 were single turns. Now will come 2 double turns. I mean, I could think of it that way and just go double turn, single turn, single turn. So here are 2 double turns. But it leaves you a little more open to, if you make a mistake, to continuing the mistake forever.